Shalom, shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles, the elders, and the men of great millstone, as well as those men who preach and teach the likewise doctrine. No compromising, not mixing it to fix it. I want to say shalom to all the Akim and few Akwat that may be listening. This is your brother Batakallah Yahawada from the GMS camp here in Chicago, coming back at you with another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. And today I just wanted to talk about the speckled bird Israelite. And Salakia, one of the Jake riding next to me wanted to show some love, so you know. But I wanted to talk about the speckled bird Israelite, man, because a lot of times, man, especially with the media and the way that things are portrayed online, on the news, etc., they can get you to think that this is a you gotta look like John Shaft kind of thing, that black only Israelite rhetoric. But they even got a Hispanic only Israelite rhetoric, and they even got a Native American only Israelite rhetoric. And see, what we gotta understand is that Esau, he likes to turn things upside down, like the scriptures say, things will be turned upside down and esteemed as the potter's clay. But he's also all about division. So of course he's going to take a group, and his first step to trying to conquer the group that he's trying to conquer is going to be to break the group up in 2 or 3 or however many he can break it up into, and then go from there. Now, me and one of the other brothers, we bounce at the club, and one of the bars that we work at has the appearance, at least staff wise, I mean, of course we got Issachar in there, you know, they working, so they're going to be there. But with the exception of the Issacharites, and then there's 2 young ladies that work there that is Ephraimites, with the exception of that, all of the other young ladies that work at the bar appear to be Esau. And then there's 2 of the gentlemen that bounce with us that appear to be Esau. And then one of the other cats is an Ephraimite. And there's one of these cats, he goes to the club, he's a regular at the bar, and he looks like Justin Bieber. But the man is the man's a Jake. But basically, the point I'm trying to make is that you know, in the words of Big Pun, Salakia, in the words of Big Pun, you know, and excuse my French, but he says, "Fuck appearance, I'ma try the spirit." And that nonetheless, I mean, he's an Ephraimite, so of course that's Jake, but Jake got the zeal. That lets you know that Jake got the zeal for the Most High, even when they're doing wickedly, which is what he was doing, being an industry rapper. But like I said, man, the scriptures, they clearly state that Israel is like unto a speckled bird, meaning that you can look any kind of way and still be an Israelite. Okay, the scriptures also say that you have to try the spirit, and that the spirit would bear witness as to who's an Israelite and who isn't. Okay, and the scriptures also say in a number of places, you know, in Deuteronomy, in Ezekiel, among many others, that Israel would be scattered across the globe as for a punishment, but not only for a punishment. Okay, it's not just because of a punishment, it was also a way to save us from being completely wiped out. All right, because this Edomite, especially in the early days of conquering us, had a real vendetta as far as killing Jake. And I mean, even when the intention was not to kill Jake, as far as the transatlantic slave trade is concerned, they were trying to come over here with as many bodies as they could to make more money. But the process was so vicious and the process was so violent that more than half of Jake that made the trip died. Okay, so, you know, for all of those reasons, we've been scattered. And you know, those of us who understand what happened in 70 AD, a lot of Jake, when they got out of that jam, they just ran. You know what I'm saying? So people ended up in the land of India, in the middle, well, they was already in the Middle East, but in like Iraq, Iran area, in China, in Japan, on the other side of the world. Well, you know, when they got brought over, Salakia. But, you know, in Africa, all of these places, in Europe, Jake scattered all over as far as who was left. because the northern kingdom had already come to this side of the world at this point. But those that were left in Jerusalem, when they scattered in 70 AD, they scattered all across the eastern hemisphere. Okay. Now, the reason why I can so confidently say that all of these individuals that look like Edomites are Jakes is because, like I said, you got to try the spirit. And it's just certain things that Esau does not do, will not do. And I'm somebody who has had a very high level exposure to Esau. Okay, when I went to college in Nebraska, I had one friend who was a Jake, who was somebody who I would classify as a quote-unquote real nigga, at least at the time, and he's still real. Another brother that had the zeal of the Most High. Lord willing, he found the right way. But if not, you know, it is what it is. But and this is not, I mean, this isn't a point in my life when I was carnal, but you know, Jake acknowledges that Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is real. Even if they say God and JC, they still acknowledge that these entities are real. Okay, and are still trying to find answers, not only as to why we are where we are, but how to get past that. Okay, and this brother did a lot of work with a lot of Gadites and a lot of work with a lot of Judites that's out there, you know, that didn't have a father. He's a solid brother. But other than him, everybody else that was over there that I was dealing with was an Edomite for the most part. Maybe a couple of Issachar, but it was college, man. So it's a lot of Esau in there, and then it's a state that's just Edomites for the most part anyway. So I'm meeting Edomites that ain't never met a nigga in their life before and all that shit. So I got a real understanding with what a real Edomite is compared to somebody that's a confusion of face or a speckled bird, a speckled bird. So when you're dealing with an Edomite and, you know, they start bringing up things like the Most High unsolicited, and they carry themselves a certain way, even because, you know, and it don't even have to be that they bring up the Most High. That's one of the most pertinent things that would let you know. But it's not just that they bring up the Most High, it's the way that they do it. Because there are Edomites that believe in the Most High, but it's almost spiteful the way that they believe it, and it's just not the same as how Jake believed. You know what I'm saying? When Edomites talk about they believe in the Most High, it's they come with that organized religion rhetoric, and a lot of times it's just a different kind of, because, you know, some Jakes that's Baptist, but it's a lot of kind of different kind of ways Esau comes, and very pompous, you know what I'm saying? But when somebody comes humbly and mentions the Most High, and you don't bring it up, because we don't go to the job bringing up the truth, because number one, you don't know who's listening. Most importantly, now, because brothers got discernment on who they're going to tell the truth to and who they're not going to tell the truth to, but you don't know who's around you in there listening. And we've had brothers that have been approached by Amalekites and been fingered as brothers that's in the camp without ever speaking to these individuals. So we don't bring this up in public. But like I said, the spirit bears witness, man. You can just feel when somebody is Jake, man. And another thing that I noticed as well when you're dealing with an Edomite. Now, there are Edomites that are ashamed of being Edomites, but it's different when somebody really is a Jake and you try to call them an Edomite, and the way that they go about letting you know that they're not an Edomite. And it's a very Jake, in a very Jake fashion, like, whoa, man, wait a minute, I'm not all that. And then they'll give you their whole life. They'll tell you about how they grew up in the ghetto, how all they grew up with was niggas, or all they grew up with was Hispanics, etc., etc. And they really take it serious, man. But it isn't in a way like how an Edomite would just be ashamed of being an Edomite because of what their history is. It don't got nothing to do with that. They don't recognize with it. Not liking to be an Edomite and not recognizing with being an Edomite are two different things. Okay? And like I said, man, the Lord it's beautiful that the Lord has put us in a situation where we can see this day to day, because I'm gonna tell you something, man. A lot of niggas that look like they Israelites, man, not gonna make it, man. I'm gonna just put it like that. A lot of you niggas are addicted to doing wickedness, and I was watching the brothers in DC the other day, and the elder Kasap out there in DC mentioned it himself, that he was thinking in the car, like, you know, you do so much wickedness, and ultimately you get to a point of, okay, we've been doing this too much. let's try something different and see if that works. But Jake don't never come to that conclusion. Niggas just wicked, and niggas will keep pushing the envelope on wickedness, especially in hopes of trying to get money. You know what I'm saying? We got niggas that are gangbang their whole life, come out of jail, do 10 years, and get right back in the saddle, man. And some of that is Esau's fault, as far as not giving people the right opportunities, etc. But ultimately, at the end of the day, man, you got to take accountability for your actions as well. Esau's going to get punished, but guess what? And I say this all the time, Esau's doing his job, man. He's not supposed to make shit easy for you. That's not why he's here. But niggas end up coming out, they don't have integrity, they don't have resolve, and a lot of them never even have intentions of doing the right thing, man. And it's the same. I mean, he brought up Lil Nas X as an example as well. I mean, these people are just going to keep going further and further off the wall, man. And they never going to stop, especially if compensation comes behind that. So a lot of you niggas that look like Jake are not going to make it, man. And you don't deserve to. When it's people that are really sincere and really humble, man, that's Jake, but don't look like Jake. And I'm going to tell you something, man. As somebody that don't look like a Judite, but is a Judite and been growing up around Judites their whole life and has been told what I'm not by other people based off how I look, that you would think, because a lot of people might say, oh, well, you know, they got an easy road in life because they look white. They don't get fucked with by the police. But guess what, man? When you not something that people are telling you are, it don't matter what kind of benefits come with that, man. Because the curses are inescapable. Like I said, a lot of these people that look like Edomites, that's really Drake, still grew up in the hood, man. Still been fucked up their whole life. A lot of them don't know their father. Same shit that Jake go through, man. Because it's Jake. You can't escape the curses. You understand what I'm saying? And on top of that, you got to deal with people who you in your heart and inside you know that these are your own people, but you got to deal with them telling you that you not this and you not that because they upset that you look a certain way. Okay, and that shit is off, man. And this is not anything new, because in the gospel, you know, when they talk about Gentiles and strangers, and they're referring to Israelites that aren't from the land of Israel and didn't grow up under the customs of Israel, them Jakes that was living in Israel that was quote unquote keeping the laws and quote unquote raised in Israelite traditions was treating them niggas the same way, man, telling them that they not Israelites, fucking them over like if it's not their brother, and that's a heavy burden to be carrying, man, your whole life, man. And you can tell that it's a heavy burden because even though we don't tell people the truth, we will tell somebody that they a nigga if they a nigga. You get what I'm saying? And you can just give that Blake Griffin example about how his son looked like an Edomite but is a Jake. You can give that example and not divulge nothing about the truth to somebody and just make a point. And we do that. And to see the reaction that these people give, man, it's not no Hollywood type reaction of, oh, I can say, nigga. It ain't none of that, man, because guess what? And this is how you know that these people are sincere and that they not Edomites, man. Even when you tell somebody this, they not trying to throw the nigga word off. I've told people, you a nigga, bro, say it. And they won't do it, man. Why? Because of that respect, man. Because of that sincerity. Esau don't got that, man. Esau is a fucking animal. Esau can't wait to get a green light to say nigga, man. And says it regularly in their day-to-day life, man. But like I said, man, we really got to try the spirit and be careful with the kind of things we say to people and telling people that they're Edomite just because you looked at them and all of that. And I'm going to be honest, man, even a 10 or 15 minute conversation, now there are exceptions, but we even got to be careful with that, man, because guess what? You're going to grow up the way that you was raised, man. And a lot of people, just based off of how they talk, you're not going to be able to tell. It's going to be more about how they carry themselves, man. More about how they respond to certain things, more so than just a hi, how you doing type of conversation. All right? So we really got to be careful with that, man, because you can be responsible for sending somebody off and having them do something wild because you don't perceive that they Jake and you go off the handle. Now, like I said, if somebody's an Edomite, they're going to reveal that, man. But it ain't going to be revealed in 10 seconds. So you got to be careful. And even on top of that, unless you're on the line and somebody approached the line, you really shouldn't be talking about the truth with cats like that anyway, until you know that this is somebody that's Jake that can receive it. And even then, you do it in private, okay? And a lot of times, man, people, because it's another brother that we go to the bar with, like, we don't work at this bar, but we just go to the bar, and he's always there, and he's a Blasian cat. But you know, the same thing could apply to him, where, like, how I don't look like a full thoroughbred quote unquote nigga, they'll tell you look like an Arab, you look like an Indian cat, you look like I mean, if you look Hispanic, that don't matter, but you know, Jake is stupid, Judah's stupid, they don't know, so yeah, they'll tell you that too. And he one of them, he fall into that category where he don't all the way look like a nigga. And you can even, I mean, you can see it with Naomi Osaka, who is a tennis player, who's her father is a Levite, a Haitian cat, and her mother is a Japanese woman. And it's niggas telling her that she not Jake because she half Japanese. Because Judah is fucking stupid, man. Really, the whole Southern Kingdom, because a lot of these cats that think they Judites are really not Judites. They fucking Gadites. And they can be from any tribe, because every tribe had dark-skinned people. But these niggas will tell you you not something quick, fast, and in a hurry because of some shit they mama told them, man. Or some shit a nigga like Umar Johnson told them, man. When everybody that's Jake goes through the curses, man, there is no escape for nobody. That's why I said a lot of these Edomites that look like Jake, or a lot of these other demographics that look like Jake, be out here fucked up, man. Because you can't escape these curses, man. Everybody went off. Everybody that's going through these curses had a part in going off in one lifetime or another. The scriptures say that the sins of the father are revisited on the son after 4 generations, okay? Why? Because you come back and you pay the price for the shit you did. And you might think that it's a reward to be born with leprosy as a Jake, but I'm going to tell you something, man, it really isn't. Because first and foremost, these Edomites don't even care about their own people. So, and why is that? Because these elites understand that you can look any kind of way and still be a Jake. They know that. Why do you think, and Elder Malcolm is the first person that I heard say this, why do you think that they promote these DNA tests so much? These swab your mouth and send your DNA in so we can give you your historical background. Why do you think they do that? Because they don't know who's Jake. The only people that they know are 100% for sure Edomites, or all of these elite families that are at the top. That's why they only deal with each other. They not spiritual. They can't try the spirit and see if somebody Jake or not. So they just deal with individuals that they know are 100% Edomites. And the only way that they can know that these individuals are 100% Edomites is because they control their breeding and have been controlling their breeding since the Renaissance period. Only having children with each other so that they know that the kid's Edomites. And more than that, direct descendants of Cain. Because they have been cited as saying that as well. And Lord willing, I'll find the book. I've seen it in a video, but Lord willing, I'll find the book that outlines that, and we can go over that in another lesson, Lord willing. But Jake got to be careful, man. All right, you got to be careful with sending people off, because it's a lot of responsibility. Just like Uncle Ben said, great power come great responsibility. It's a lot of responsibility that come with being able to discern and understand the truth. And you know, if the Lord bless you to be able to tell who's Jake and who's not, that's a heavy burden to carry, man, because you can really turn somebody's life upside down by telling them the wrong thing. And really, with anything in this truth, you can turn somebody's life upside down and have them do something wrong if you say something wrong. That's why the apostles, the elders, and the men on down are so, they're so what's the word I'm looking for? They're so assertive about making sure that everything is said correctly and directly, man. Because it's not, we playing with Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai when we start sending people off like that, man. You got to be real careful. But Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. And real quick, before I even close it out, just to bring up a scriptural reference to that, you know, the scriptures say that if somebody knows the truth and then they send people off, not only are the blood of the people that they send off on their hands, and this even extends to if you don't say nothing to nobody and you just keep the truth in your pocket, like the man all the men that received they gold from Yahushai, and then they talent from Yahushai, and they were supposed to go and they were supposed to invest that and increase that. And one came back with 10, one came back with 5 or 3 or something like that. And then one of them just buried his and brought it back because he was scared to lose it. The 2 men that increased their talent was rewarded. The man who didn't increase his had to pay the price. Okay, but that even extends to telling people the wrong thing. If you lead somebody into a ditch, you're responsible for your actions and their actions, and you're going to receive many strikes for that. Many stripes for that, because the scriptures warn you about that, and you're supposed to know better. Okay, but with that being said, I just want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, and the men of great millstone, as well as those men who preach and teach the likewise doctrine. No compromises, no mixing it to fix it. Shalom to you, Akim, if you Akwat that may be listening. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Kwam Yasharallah and Abba Ball.